Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Biohazard Real Survival. In the last episode, we ran into Barry Burton of all people here in the dormitory, who claimed to have been talking to himself after we had overheard a rather unusual conversation. Whether or not he was talking to himself is a matter of debate. He's still wandering around somewhere in the dormitory. Not really sure about his excuse for getting some fresh air, considering the fact that, well, there are still zombie dogs outside of this building, but I'm sure he can handle them with his trusty Magnum, which is the name of the revolver that he has, his trusty weapon, which he always keeps that with him at all times. We also dealt with some notorious sharks, and now we're on our way to deal with an equally notorious plant, the infamous Plant 42. Cleared some inventory space, and I do not want to shunt that statue again. I don't want to move that statue again for fear that Plant 42's vine will once again be free to leech off of our vitality, because that plant does drain vitality quite significantly. What I want to do is head back to the chemical room, because now that we've read the V-Jolt file, we can now properly do this. I'll collect up all the empty bottles first. Beforehand, just in case, because I don't think this is a fairly complicated puzzle, but it is a little time consuming, but it is a fairly straightforward puzzle, believe it or not. So that's 4 empty bottles. Let's just look at these notes again. Water is 1, red is 2, purple is 3, and green is 4. Well, considering the fact that these chemicals are numbered anyway, that should be fairly obvious. But this is the important one. 1 plus 2 equals 3, 3 plus 4 equals 7, 2 plus 4 equals 6, 6 plus 7 equals 13, and 13 plus 3 equals 16. That is the other half of this puzzle, and indeed the solution. So there's UMB chemical 2 here in that bottle, and I'll just get some water in the water in here, and I believe we'll get some of this chemical over here, which is UMB chemical number 4. Chemicals 2 and 4 appear to be the only chemicals we can actually obtain right off the bat, with the exception, of course, of the water. What we don't want to do is mix water with this and try and create something that ultimately poisons us. So what I want to do is basically follow the chart. So 1 plus 2 equals 3. So we combine the water and chemical 2 together to create MP003, which is purple. Chemical 4 is green, according to the file. We mix them together, we get UMB chemical number 7, which is white. Now, you might think that combining 2 sets of chemical 3 would create chemical 6, but that's completely useless. Trust me, it makes sense that that wouldn't work, because you're just getting more of the same. What you have to do is combine chemical 2 and chemical 4 to create chemical 6. And get something completely different from MP003. So combine 2 with 4, we get yellow 6, and we combine yellow 6 with number 7, we get number 13. I'll get some more water and some more chemical too, and yeah, we're pretty much done with the puzzle at this point. Combine these two to get MP003 once again, and combine it with UMB13 to get the V-Jolt, which is UMB chemical number 16. Now I can destroy that ivy monster, which means we're going to have to go back down to the area where the root was, and no, we don't want any more. Don't want any more chemicals. So back we go down to where the sharks were, which we will no longer have to deal with. Those sharks can be pretty lethal. And I'm still going to have to get those herbs behind there. I don't think I got any of them, so I have to make sure I get those at some point. But back to the ladder and head back downstairs. Listen again to that wonderful atmospheric melody. Definitely feels like we're underwater, even though all the water has been drained at this point. I really do love the melodies of Biohazard. Believe it or not, they actually remixed a lot of these for the 2002 GameCube remake of Biohazard, but I'm pretty sure that most of you already know that quite well. Now we're back in this room, and it seems that Plant 42 no longer has any water to sustain itself, and it's going to get a little bit worse because we're now going to use the V-Jolt in the same manner as the herbicide in the mansion. And it's shriveled, and basically it didn't like that. It's withered. So hopefully that should really do a number on Plant 42. Here's hoping, fingers crossed. And now the time has come to actually deal to Plant 42. Which is essentially the last thing we have to deal with in this entire building. And then, depending on what we find, we may pretty much have to go back to the mansion at some point, unless something else happens. But I'm definitely sure that nothing else will happen. So we wonder if that actually, I'll just go back in here briefly and see if I can't deposit these empty bottles in the, oh no, I want to go to chemical room, that's right. I was going the right way and then I turned myself all around. I apologize for that. Back into the chemical room to see if I can deposit these empty bottles, otherwise I'm going to have to go back to the item box, which would be fairly annoying. I wonder if Biohazard will be that generous. No. Looks No, it is not. I thought it was, and it wasn't. That's a little bit irritating, but no matter. I can go back and get the respective items that I need in preparation for dealing with Plant 42. More specifically, I believe the bazooka is going to be exceptionally useful. Of course, once Plant 42 is dead, we won't have to worry about any vines attacking us. But, this is annoying. We definitely want the explosive rounds, some mixed herbs, and leave that there. Might as well combine the ink ribbons, I suppose. And then put them back. Still don't need the Beretta or anything just yet. Yeah, definitely want to get those herbs. I feel that herbs are going to be extremely useful. Saves me having to waste another first aid spray, and don't push the statue. I have to be mindful of that. Be mindful at all times. And back down we go. I said get the herbs beforehand. Getting ahead of myself there. Once again, apologies. So once again, push the statue. 3 conveniently placed herbs. Hooray. Hurrah, 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 hooray. We'll mix 2 of them and then keep one separate. And then go back into room 003. So combine these 2. And take this final herb, just in case. And we should pretty much be loaded for bear at this point. Once again, hopefully we don't have... well, we actually did pretty well against Yawn, and did pretty well against the, well, the sharks, considering the fact that we didn't really have to deal with them at all. I want to put that book, red book I have, into the, into this convenient bookcase. And lo and behold, a secret passage. An alternate way into the room that is currently being guarded by Plant 42. Before we do that, I am going to take these flame yeah, they are, well, red is fire, after all. These are flame rounds. So red is fire. Very powerful rounds indeed. Of course, we're going to have to use the 3 explosive rounds in the grenade launcher before I can actually use them. But, well, here's hoping. Of course, if push comes to shove, we can escape. Keeping our fingers crossed. It's go time. There it is, the monstrosity known as Plant 42, and I missed. And it's time for those flame rounds, and that epic music means that it's boss time. It is boss time. Ooh, and it drops acid from the ceiling. We dealt with that relatively easy, and I am on caution. Don't want that. That was Plant 42. Not only did this fire do significant damage to it, that V-Jolt actually really did do a number on it. And, well, it's safe to say that it's no longer blocking that door. Well, now we can check this fireplace here, and lo and behold, there was a mansion key hidden in the fireplace of the dormitory. I would say that this is the elusive key we've been looking for. Carving of a helmet. The helmet key. The final key, I believe. And I believe now we can actually backtrack back to the mansion. Plant 42 is dead. Another creature bites the dust. I am going to have to deal with the dogs outside at some point. Oh, and there's gunfire.
Wesker!
Jill, so you're safe.
That's what I was going to say. Where on earth have you been? You disappeared from the hall all of a sudden.
I'm sorry, but I have my reasons. Perhaps you guys have met them? It was all I could do to protect myself against those strange creatures.
Is that right? Anyway, it's good to see you're safe.
I met Barry too a while ago. I think there's something wrong with him.
Yes, I agree with you. Sure was strange, wasn't he? He looked so tired.
Well, maybe it's quite natural under these circumstances. Jill, our first priority is to get out of here.
Yes, you're right.
Now, there are a lot of rooms in that mansion that we can't get into because they're locked up. I have been looking around for clues.
Okay, I'll go to the other house and see if I can find any clues.
Will you do that? I'm counting on you.
Well, lo and behold, Captain Whisker is still alive, but hasn't been any sign of Chris lately. And lo and behold, he's been shooting at bees. Thank you for, you have more bravery than I would, shooting bees with a Beretta handgun, but it seems like Whisker is taking care of things here at the dormitory. Now it's our obligation to actually return to the mansion. If memory serves, there were a few locked rooms on the second floor, one on the far east, and several rooms on the west, and one final door by the entrance, also locked with a helmet lock. But Plant 42 is now dead, good riddance, and that means no more Vine. But things have been, a lot of things have been happening. We've been in the mansion. I have a bit of a dilemma at this point. Yeah, I have a bit of a serious dilemma indeed. So I would like to take the Beretta back with me, if I'm being brutally honest. This is definitely going to be a little bit interesting. I'll leave the explosive rounds here for the time being. Yeah, I really want to take these mixed herbs with me. And, I'll leave the first aid spray. I can always come back for the first aid spray. But, something tells me I should save. Especially after a boss fight. Because a lot of time has passed in the mansion. And, with certain areas open to the elements, we may end up having to fight more, zombies and dogs that have, made their way in from outside of the mansion. Yeah, definitely want those mixed herbs. Even though I know there were quite a lot of, herbs outside. I'm gonna have to, deal with the dogs, so it's a very good thing I did save. Yeah, really regretting not dealing with the dogs outside, but yeah, those dogs are mean. But we are effectively done with the dormitory once and for all, so back to the mansion it is. Huh, and that was another beep from the communications radio. Should probably take a listen.
This is Brad. I know you can't answer me, but somehow, give me a sign.
This is Jill. Brad? Oh, it's broken.
Well, that would actually explain quite a lot. Seems like the radio is damaged. As a result, we can't send transmissions, but we can certainly receive them. Oh, and there appear to be no dogs. No dogs whatsoever. Huh. That is interesting. Seems like Whisk or Barry has conveniently taken care of the dogs for us. Although something tells me that there are still going to be dogs outside in this area here in the courtyard. So I actually believe that I'm going to call this an episode. I know it's fairly short, considering the fact that I wanted these episodes to be a little bit longer, but 20 odd minutes is fairly decent for an episode, I find, these days. So when we return, adventurers, we shall make our way back to the mansion and see if we can unlock those doors, which we now can, since we have the helmet key in our possession. So that's what we're going to do. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.